I just wanted to mention, it was actually making me understand one of the beautiful things about hiding away from the people that are not for you, the people that may despise you, people that may dislike you, people that may criticize you, people that may X, Y, and Z, that actually causes you to no longer be motivated to do the thing that you want to do, to cause you to start altering your own decisions in being able to produce the very idea and bring it into light, to be able to put yourself out there for the world to see. What happens is when you get to that point of actually feeling that discomfort as a result of how people see you, you get to the point of saying to yourself, well, I don't want to show more of myself anymore because of X, Y, and Z people. So I want to avoid these individuals. But here's the beautiful thing. One thing I've just learned is, for example, if you are in a position where you are accused of something, and whatever that accusation may be, and you start noticing that, hey, I'm actually being accused of something that might not actually be true, or it's actually twisted, right? It has, certain truths, but it's not the full truth, right? There's a bit of deception here, right? What they are saying is true, but the context in which they are saying, they're missing out the whole truth, and they're making it look like this is what the whole truth actually is, right? And that's what I've understood. Now, here's the beautiful thing. You might think to yourself, oh, well, people are accusing me of X, Y, and Z, therefore I should stop. Here's the problem with stopping. Because you're no longer being your authentic self, the information that everybody has is only that which was said. So therefore, with your lack of involvement in feeding the actual world, when feeding the actual reality with information of who you are, what ends up happening is what fills that void, because you are avoiding to be yourself, is that actual statement, that conclusion of you in that context, because that's all that's available during this period of the void, and now that's all people have in their mind. Now, here's the beautiful thing. When you keep being yourself and you keep feeding into reality the information of who you truly are, what happens is whatever context that was there, now it's being met with new information of you being yourself, which then gathers new context in others' minds, in the world, with the ability to attract those who are for you, those who will see that actually, I like who this person is, and I like how much transformation he's bringing. I like the impact that they have in my life, being who they are. It starts getting to a point where whatever the context of whatever was said, it becomes it gets to a place of indifference, right? It's like a stalemate, right? Because who you are, it's confirming your context of your authentic self, and whatever the context of what was said about you, it's just whatever that was said about you, and it's just there. But now when you put two and two together, what ends up happening is you can always be you. So your information that you give to the world, being yourself, will always supersede whatever context of whatever that was said about you, because that's fixed. Because you must understand, a new story, a new thing needs to be said about you for that context to keep being enforced. But when you are constantly being yourself, you are giving more of the information of who you truly are, that it overrides information wise with what people get to know about you. So your consistency in keep showing up in spite of what people say gets people the information about your truth and the context of your authenticity that will always override whatever that's being said. But when you start saying that I'm going to stop being myself because people are saying X, Y, and Z about me, I want to avoid those things being said, you are allowing the void to be filled with only the information about what was said about you. So the only thing that people can believe is information that is available, and that is ultimately what was said about you. So give the people the truth. Bless everybody the truth. Bless everybody with the truth of your authenticity. Never stop being yourself. Constantly push the truth to the world and let them know this is who you are. At all cost, never allow anything stop you from being you, no matter what, because the information you feed into the reality is the truth that people will need to have, so that you can attract those that your blessing, being yourself, will impact. You need to understand people need what you have, but they need you to exist in their reality by feeding the information of being you so that they can retrieve it. They cannot retrieve that which is hidden, but they can retrieve that which is made available. And what they need to have made available is you being you. And that's what I've understood is the ultimate way of filling the void, without avoidance, but allowance of the words of all kinds being said about you to exist, so that the ones that bring restoration can prevail. Because that's ultimately your purpose. You are here to restore other people. You got restored in a certain area, and your restoration is going to restore other people. But your avoidance, because of what people might say about you, will cause you to have the restoration. But now you no longer shine your light. Now you're afraid and anxious, and you start to avoid the commentary. And the thing that starts to now prevail is the darkness, because no longer are you shining your light. Now that's the only thing that happens, is darkness. You must understand that darkness cannot stop light. Darkness cannot stop light. When light steps into the room, darkness has no choice but to submit. The only thing that a person can do to you is to demotivate you, to persuade you, to make you believe that you don't have any light, so that you never get to switch it on. And it sometimes comes through what they will say about you. That is when you realize that what they say has got nothing to do with your truth. And that's when you start to realize that if there is an impact in you shining your light, then there must be two sides in which it's impacting. You must understand, when you shine your light, you're going to have reactions from both sides. You're going to get from positive and from negative. So if you are now submitted to the negative responses, and you say, you know what, I'm going to avoid shining my light, you are now achieving success, avoiding the negative responses, but now the positive responses of bringing restoration in somebody else never gets unveiled. And you must understand, the thing that will keep you going is when somebody tells you, they confirm with their mouth about you doing great things in their life, how you uplifted them when they were in the actual low moment, when you actually transformed and impacted them when they needed that actual influence, when they needed that actual encouragement, when they needed that actual transformation, when they needed that actual perception, when they needed what you had. These positive responses, when you are avoid, you don't get them either, and that is your blessing. What I've learned is your blessing is this side. So let this side exist. As they said, let the weeds and the actual wheat grow together. At the time of harvest, we'll bundle up the wheat and we'll tie up the weeds and burn them. Right? They'll put the wheat in the barn and they'll bundle up all the weeds and burn them. But if you try to remove the weed, if you try to remove yourself from the negative responses, you may uproot the wheat too. That's why you let it grow. That's why you need to grow with both the negative and the positive, because the positive is where you will get your encouragement. The positive is where you will get the ability to recognize this is why your light is so important to the world, because of these individuals right here. So just have a stalemate response to the negative, because no matter what, your light cannot be stopped by anything. Darkness can only cause somebody to be so afraid that they never want to start their business, that they never want to start putting that post out there in the world. They never want to actually get their product out there. They never want to start that relationship. They never want to, transition into this new thing, go and seek that actual opportunity. They never want to go and ask. Fear, darkness, doubt causes you to never switch on your light. But then what you realize is criticism, commentary, how people think about you that may not necessarily like you. When you are constantly avoiding that, you are allowing yourself not to be in a position of receiving the positive response that will ultimately allow you to prevail into fulfilling your purpose. And that's what I've understood is the problem. The problem is that you are allowing the negative responses to stop you from achieving your positive responses. So when you get to decide to show up with your light, no matter what, when you show up with your light at every single point, you'll recognize, you will meet those who you are supposed to meet. Your destiny helpers will, here's what you have to understand. Your destiny helper is over here. But when you avoid the journey, you'll never meet this person. Your next blessing is over here, where this destiny helper will lead you to. But you will never get to the destiny helper and get to the next blessing when you are avoiding. So what you have to understand is the following. When you are avoiding the negative, you are avoiding every single positive thing, every single blessing, every single destiny helper that is out there waiting to help you become who you're meant to be. So never stop shining your light, no matter what. No matter what, never, ever stop shining your light. I can tell you right now, you will always have both sides. But remember which side is where your purpose exists. The people who are going to be restored by you being you. The destiny helpers that are there waiting for you. And the blessings that have already been provisioned for you. It's all on the other side. And that's why you never stop shining your light. And then this side, it just becomes a stalemate. Because it doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter anymore. You know why? Because everything on this side is encouraging you and transforming others and blessing you and connecting you with the right people, that your purpose starts to prevail. And it makes this side powerless, because darkness is powerless to light. So never switch your light off, ever, no matter what. Thank you, dear Lord, for listening. With all that being said, this is Base Ebony Panther. Keep that in mind.